Hi, yeah, my name is Moses, and so one of my former best friends, his name is Gavin, and he's committed, so suicide sucks, like fuck you. But anyways, so my friend, he was a wonderful person, had a good heart, had like any other human being, had his own issues. But I don't know what happened, but he committed suicide, and there's theories, but yeah. So I just want to condole him. He's a good person, and yeah, suicide sucks.
Do you or somebody you know struggles with depression, anxiety, or any sort of mental illness, or do you know someone who has ended their own life?
Yes, I have known people who are struggling with depression or anxiety, and have considered ending their life.
I don't know anyone who's ended my own life. I don't struggle with depression or mental illness, but I know a few people who do, who I've worried were about to take their own lives, but they have not done so.
I don't know anyone who's ended their own life, but I do know someone struggling with it. Depression. Yeah.
Ended their own life? Yeah, there's somebody, I've dealt with depression, I know people that have dealt with depression. It's a real thing. In my lifetime, I've heard of people taking their own lives, but nobody close to me.
And have you ever had moments where you felt down and thought everyone else was way happier than you? And if yes, why was that?
Definitely there are times. I think that just comes from the fact that like everyone goes through a hard time, and sometimes everyone else surrounding that person might seem a lot happier because you don't necessarily know everything that they're going through. But that
I, on the surface level, would say is probably because lack of deep friendship, and I'd say that was kind of the surface level cause, and the root cause behind that was that I was actually legitimately mad at God, and I feel like that led to other thoughts also. But thankfully, it's just short season. So.
I think sometimes people forget. Sometimes people see the world through their own eyes, and it's easy to assume that everyone's experience is like your own because that's what you know, and it's hard to imagine something different. So when you're really down, it's easy to assume that, well, if I'm going through this, everyone else must be, since I think in general people tend to assume that other people are like them.
Well, really, I think it just depends on a person-to-person case, but for me personally, it was just due to a lack of me being able to reach out to anyone that I knew and being able to talk to anyone comfortably about it.
Oh yeah, all the time.
What do you think is the root of that?
Well, depression, because that can mess with your self-esteem and whatnot, so you kind of get down on yourself, or you kind of internalize a lot of the stuff that you probably need to talk about.
Is suicide, in your opinion, a selfish act? Why or why not?
That's a hard question. I personally feel that it can be either way. Personally, I feel like it's not a selfish act because for that person to have thought that that was the only solution that they had, they must have felt really alone and felt like they didn't have the resources that they needed, and to know that they didn't feel as though they had someone to go to, it just makes me upset that I couldn't be a resource for that person.
A lot of people that deal with depression, and even people that ultimately commit suicide, I feel like there's no hope and they're helpless, and that is kind of their last resort option, kind of end the pain or to end the sadness. So I would say it's not a selfish action. It is tremendously sad when it does happen.
No, I think people who are going through suicide, going through depression that leads them to suicide, are dealing with a lot of pain and mental illness that they can't handle by themselves. And I think sometimes they could have they fail to take action to seek help, but other times help was not made available to them, and it was more on other people in their lives for not reaching out.
Yeah, because you are choosing to leave your problems behind for everyone else to clean up. And I think it's something that you need to just steady your resolve and be able to push through it by any means necessary.
Selfish act. I do not think it's selfish. I don't think it's the right thing to do. But
For those who struggle with mental illness and suicidal thoughts, why do you think it's so hard for them to seek help, which leads eventually ending their own life?
Yeah, I think that honestly comes from stigmatism of mental illnesses and how it's not really accepted in the society, and how people talk about it in this such stereotypical negative view on all the mental illnesses and suicidal thoughts. So people have a hard time, and when a lot of people are going through those stages in life, I feel that they feel as though they're really alone, and they're the only people that are feeling that way, and for some reason that they can't get out of that position, deep position that they're in. So I feel like that prevents them from asking or reaching out for help, and they don't know the response that they might get. It might be really supportive, and trying to help them, or it might result in judgments from other people, which is the last thing you need.
Maybe this could be a small reason, but lack of knowledge that there is help out there. I think maybe a bigger thing is it's hard for them to maybe come to terms with it themselves, and hard to talk about it and admit it and seek help. Plus, if you're at a helpless stage to begin with, it's hard to see, I've tried to do everything and nothing's worked. Why would me trying to talk to somebody else, why would that have any different impact? So maybe still a this isn't gonna work maybe mentality. Although I haven't talked to many of them in that time of their lives during that time.
I think part of it is that it's just a very hard thing to talk about. There's a lot of stigma attached with it, and I think people in general wouldn't want to admit that. I think sometimes when you're really depressed, you think to yourself, well, what's the point? My life doesn't matter anyway. So sometimes people don't really lose the care for themselves that would lead them to get help.
They always say the first step is just admitting the problem, and a lot of people, they just find it way too hard to do that. And yeah, just being able to reach out is the hardest part.
Well, it's hard to reach out. It's hard to ask for help, especially if you think the world's against you, right? So if the world's there for you, then it's easier for you to talk about stuff and get it out in the open. But if you feel like, you're the problem and the world's this wonderful and great thing, then you're gonna kind of just, again, bring it all home. It's all gonna be internal. You're gonna isolate yourself. You're not gonna be part of the crowd. You're not gonna try to reach out. You're not trying to look for help.
This is the last one. What do you think are some solutions you, me, school, society, and all of us can take to prevent more people from taking their own lives?
Yeah, I think just talking about it more. I think from talking about this issue from a young age and really validating that these feelings are valued and real, and that not telling people that whatever they're going through or feeling is not real, and letting them know that there are a group of people who are willing to support them.
I really feel like there's amazing programs that we could do. There's already great programs that help out there. I think more of that would be awesome, but I think what's going to really change it is on the individual basis of I'm going to commit to be nicer, to uplift, to honor, to encourage the people around me, whether they're depressed or not, but especially if they are kind of dealing with that condition, kind of have that focus of I'm going to love, serve, and help this person. So I think it really does have to come down to an individual basis. I think that's going to be the biggest change.
I like CSU's policy opportunity for tell someone, where if you're worried about someone, you tell mental health counselors, and they'll try to reach out to them. So that's school, society. Well, I think this goes back to school too. People need to know more about this, and I think people do a lot of their learning in school. So I think maybe there should be classes in schools about how to deal with this sort of thing. I think be aware, and if someone be the kind of person that people will feel comfortable talking to about this. Come across as non-judgmental and the kind of person who listens and is willing to help.
Well, something that I love about CSU is just how much they push for like inclusivity and support groups. They have a ton of people you can talk to, and I just think that's really great, and they're taking it in the right direction.
Reach out, be available, be open to talk, open to listen, help out where you can.
I'm in my video production office right now, guys, and this suicide prevention has been a huge deal for me for quite some time now, because 2 years ago, in like late-ish September, when I was still a senior in high school, I told my mother, Mom, I just want to die. And I've struggled with this kind of thing myself, so please, if you are out there, and if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, or anything for that matter, please know you are loved and you're not alone. Please don't hesitate to call the suicide hotline, and I really just want to thank everyone that I've interviewed in this video for this project that me and my friend Los are doing for our club called Turing. If you guys want to support Turing, we're currently looking for a treasurer and more recruits, so if you're like a CSU Ram like us, please let us know in the comments down below, and sign up on our website. And don't forget to seek help. At least if you guys want to end this blight to our existence as depression and suicide, please check out some links I'll left in the description down below. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. You are not alone.